Nick here with Dylan Falco from G2. Obviously a much closer series than many people expected. We were just talking about this, but you guys were talking about how you respected Furia. You knew that they were going to be better than a lot of people expected. So just walk me through why the series was so difficult, what you managed to do to pull it back, and yeah.
So, I think this is one of the most talented teams that Brazil has sent in a long time. They have a lot of young talent. It's not I think a lot of the same names that have not performed internationally. So I was expecting this one to be tough. 5 games, maybe not, as I think we're coming from a stronger regions. We're the favorites. We're expected to win. I expect it to be difficult, maybe not this difficult. I think they definitely had a very good plan in the 2 games that they took. I think in game 1, we're playing very engaged, focused comp, and they clearly prepared for that. They had a lot of anti-engage. It became very hard for us to do once I think we were winning that game, right? And we failed one play, we failed the team fight, and ended up behind. And I think game 4, we were also just going for something a bit fancy with the Nico Flex and the Blitzcrank. It didn't quite pan out. I'm pretty sure I know a few of the reasons why it didn't pan out. So I understand why we lost those games. And ultimately, the games we won, I think, were pretty solid, actually. I think we played quite well in the games we won. It was clean. We were winning the whole time mostly. So it was close, but I'm happy we managed to pull through.
Yeah, and certainly you guys pulled it back for that game 5. I think what a lot of people were expecting game 1 to look like came out in game 5, and you were able to stabilize their end. So coming out of this, what are your thoughts on Furia, on this LTAS team that they've had a sort of a reputation as like scrim gods in the region, didn't really put it together, split one, but have managed to here. And just what are your thoughts on Furia?
Yeah, I always like when the teams that are good in scrims and good in solo queue and grind the hardest. I think there was a time where if you took ELO across the world, obviously not all servers are equal. It was G2 and Furia were the top solo queue teams in the world on their respective servers. So I love it. I love teams like that. I'm happy they're here, and I'll be cheering for them in the lower bracket.
Yeah. So then looking at the rest of the competition, obviously just behind us, GAM versus BLG is starting up. I certainly think BLG is probably going to walk out of this the victor. Not to say that GAM doesn't have a fighting chance, but what are your thoughts on the rematch with BLG? I know that some of the players sounded like they were quite eager to face off against BLG again, but how are you feeling?
It seems destiny. Every international event, we end up against BLG. Often it's for the elimination for both of these 2 teams. That's what it's been, I think, for the last 3 times. This time, at least, it's in the winner's bracket, so it's a bit less stressful. There's also a different BLG, and it's also a different G2, right? They weren't as dominant in China, and we weren't as dominant in Europe, so I think we've always played them very close. Kind of lost. I think we lost every time, but we were always taking games. It was always very tight, so we're looking forward to tomorrow.
Hell yeah. Okay, next question has nothing to do with pro play. So the last time we chatted, which was many, many months ago when I was working EU regularly, we found out that you and the G2 crew are a little bit of lore nerds. Like you guys, you've talked...
Not me that much. Some other people are.
But, you guys have, there's been some behind the scenes discussions like where you want to see Arcane and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And so the question here is, we're standing right in front of the Spirit Blossom Beyond Season 2.
Of course.
If you got to decide the theme for a season, and Riot has said it could be a skin line that's not canon, or a region of Runeterra. So we've had Ionia, we've had Noxus. They come to you and they're like, we need a theme for a season. You can do a skin, you can do a region.
Okay.
What's the Dylan Falco season?
Oh, I think I'd have to go with Freljord, probably, because I like the Ice Champions. Maybe some Nunu involved as well. My champion, my one trick. We'll go with that, I think. I always like the wintry theme. Also, the old winter map. It's pretty cool in League. Hurt some people's eyes, but I was a fan. At least playing casually, maybe not in ranked.
I miss Baron with the little Fanta cap on it. That was good.
So
good.
We're gonna go for that ice season.
Awesome. I think that's a really good choice. So then, obviously, we've had a lot of time to sit with Fearless. Last time we were talking, Fearless was just like an inkling, a twinkle in Riot's eye. And now here we are. It's the format for just League of Legends.
It just is,
it just is the format for League of Legends. And we're here at a fully best-of-5 tournament, which really gets to push that to its farthest. What do you think of Fearless?
I love it. It makes my job so much more technical and so much more involved. I feel like the impact you can have on games is a lot higher. Like, for example, I think we really pulled it together for Game 5 today to create a very coherent and good draft under Game 5 scenarios, which is difficult. I also think even if I think we're good at Fearless and we're improving at it a lot, it adds a bit to the variance. I think that's a lot of the reason you've seen a lot of different teams win in a lot of different regions. It's just a lot more difficult to be consistent when the scenarios you're put in, you cannot practice 50, 100 times over. But I think it's great for the sport. I love it, and I think that's something that the more the good teams have room and time to optimize how they approach it, the more you will see it develop.
So most of the time, the banter for interregions in this type of interview would be EUNA. But I know you are from Toronto.
I am, yeah.
I am here from Vancouver.
Okay.
And I've noticed a little thing, which is that there are more Canucks in attendance at MSI than there are Americans. There is Busio for the Americans, and then we have Jojo, you, and Masu. Do you think being a Canadian just makes you better at everything?
Who is the fourth?
I think there's...
I think there's only three.
I think there's three. Yeah.
So I can also hit you with the fact that EU is sending more Canadians than NA is to the tournament. So who actually is the Canadian representative as a region?
I mean, we are part of the Commonwealth.
Yeah,
so,
there we go. Yes.
All right, perfect. Any last words? Camera's all yours.
Just thank you to the fans. I know the sentiment surrounding our team can be a bit hit and miss, but we won. We beat a lot of teams to get here. We won again today. And we are confident that we can keep winning and performing well at the tournament. So I hope you guys can cheer us on.
Awesome. Pleasure. Thank you for the time, Dylan. That's it.
Cheers.
Sweet.